This is Irontrader, and this is the weekend edition. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to look at some seasonality charts on natural gas and on crude oil. We're going to look at a scalp chart on, exactly what you want to look for when you're scalping a trade. And then we're going to look at some candlestick charts. And then we're going to look at some chart patterns. And then we're going to review gold, silver, and Bitcoin. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell a stock, commodity, ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have natural gas. Here's a seasonality chart. Okay, now this is over a 20-year period. Okay, so we're basically what we are here at the end of July. And now it looks like we might have a little bit pop up here. We got to see what we're looking for. And I'm going to show you a daily chart and a weekly chart right after the seasonality. And we're going to show you what we'll be looking for here for maybe a little pop up. And look just like sideways action here through the month of August. And then this is usually when I buy it, is usually the first week of September, where it kind of like falls off the map. And then look at the nice run you have all the way up here into December. Okay. So if you want to look at any kind of seasonality, just go to equityclock.com. You punch up anything they have, any kind of a chart that you want for seasonality is sitting right there. So again, right now we're sitting here. For the month of August, we should be pretty much flatline, but just look at September here. This is going to be a good buying opportunity here to take this bad boy higher all the way into December. Okay, let's take a look here at natural gas on the daily and on a weekly chart. Okay, here we have the natural gas on the daily and weekly chart. And you can see how this is playing out just like on a seasonality chart, okay? It's just coming like right off, okay? So now what it is, we close below this key 2.015 level. That was a very, very key. You close at 1.99, okay? But what I'm watching here is this RSI here. See how we have this low and then we have a low here, but now so far we have a lower low, but look at your RSI here, okay? So this is what we're looking for, is a positive diversion. Again, if it holds. Now, this could sink all the way down here. This is the level you're really looking for, is this 1.90. There's your gap, okay? Now, if it goes lower, you have 1.67, but usually these gaps here usually have pretty good support levels, okay? So what we're looking for here is that positive divergence here, just like we had here with the negative divergence. See where we had this high, and then we had a real high, and then we had a higher high, and then we had a lower high. See that negative? So we're looking for just the opposite of that right here to be the first tell. Now, when you look at this MACD, you can see where your green here is way below your red, but you're sitting at an oversold conditions here. So it's going to be just a matter of time. So again, if we run through the end of September and then through the August area, this is going to be a good buying opportunity here in September and running it all the way on up. Now, here we have all the way down to 1.52. Don't know if it's going to get all the way down there, but I just say right now our target is here is going to be this 1.90 level here. Now, again, we do have a target here of 1.97, 1.95, 1.92, but this is the gap, and that's usually where she'll go like a magnitude of the old fridge. Now, it could fill this gap, but we got to see how this is all going to shake out. So don't give up on natural gas here. There's going to be a nice, good buying opportunity. For me, I just scalping it, and I've been scalping that KOLD here. Been really, really good trading until we got into this system here. Then UNG was a really good trade. But then when we had this candle here, and I'm going to show you candlesticks here today. When you have a green and then you have an inside day, which is the red candle, that's usually the kiss of death where she's going to go lower, and that's exactly what it did, okay? So again, let's just watch this divergence here. Let's just see if we can get a positive divergence and maybe get a bottom in here and then take this higher. The upside, here's the whole key to it, is this 8 simple moving average. Now, when those futures open tonight at 6 p.m., this 2.10 will be lower because as it's going to be pushing right on down here. So this is what you're going to be looking for here on the upside. We need to get back and close above, and then we need to have an actual run above that 100-day, the 21-day, and then we just rally it all the way on up here. So let's just see how this is all going to shake out. So the key is here to just have some patience. Okay, let's take a look here at crude oil seasonality. Okay, now here we are, crude oil seasonality chart here. Now, okay, so here we are coming into the end of July. Okay, so we're sideways action now. Realistically, we should have a nice rally up here until realistically, I always do this, is to the end of September. And then when you get into the October area, this is where you want to short this thing to the first week of December. Okay, so that's usually what I do. And then we ride that up here first week of December here, all the way here to you get about the first 3-4 days here of January is what I do. And then when I see this area here, then I get out of it, because then you have sideways action. But then like mid-February, first week, second week of February is where you just want to take a long position and just ride it right on in here. Now we got to see how this is going to shake out, because right now crude is coming off here. So we got to see how this is all going to shake out here, going forward. But right now here, if you look at July, this looks like it's supposed to be like a nice sell-off, and that's exactly what happened. Now let's see if we can get a pop-up here and run that into the end of September. Okay, let's take a look here on a daily and a weekly chart of crude. Okay, here's the crude oil. Now you can see, just like the chart is, it's selling off here at the end of July. So let's just see what's going to do in August. Now, August, it should have that nice run up here, but we have to see exactly how it's all going to shake out here, okay? So this is here is on a weekly chart. This was like last year. Here's that July time frame. You can see where it's selling right on off here. It lines it up here to July. Then you can see where it's going to rally right on up here all the way, and then to the end of September, and then October here, that's where you want to short it right back down again here, okay? So this is a pretty good tell on what's going to be going on here. But again, we got to see here how this is all shaken out. So, because what we had here, like Friday, it rallied up here, but look at this big ass red candle. So we have sideways action. So we got to see how this is all going to shake out. So what you want to do is you want to watch the bottom of this candle right here. This is that 7604. That's going to be very, very key. If that's lost here, then what we're going to be doing is looking here at that 75.23 level, and then we'll come to the top of this candle. You're looking at 74.33, and then bottom here 74.06, and then we have bottom there at 73.98, and then we go bottom there at 72.82, and then you could come all the way down here to this this key level that we're looking at here is that 72.48 level. But let's just see how this shakes out and compares to that to the seasonality chart. Now, again, the seasonality chart is over 20 years, so it's an average, and every time it doesn't work out just like that. But let's just see how this is all going to shake out, because right now it's kind of playing just the way that chart is showing, okay? So the upside, when those futures open, you want to watch this 8 SMA here, because it's going to cross over that 200 days. So now you're below, the price is below all these key simple moving averages. So you really have to get back above that 8-day and this 200-day here and that 50-day. Then we can take it and ride it up higher here. But until we get that reversal, right now we have no reversal candle. This here was a reversal candle, but you notice that there was no follow through the following day. Okay, so when you look at a lot of these reversal candles like we had right here, look at the nice follow through it had. Okay, now we just take this out a little bit here. We have all this follow through. See that candle? Look at that. See the follow through it had, the follow through it had. So there's just something going on here that just doesn't really smell right here, because now we have the sideways action. Let's see if we can rally it up. So, but a key level on the upside is that 8-day, that 200-day, and then that 50-day. If you can rally it up again there, then we can reverse this and go right on up. But right now, this just looks lower. There's no divergence here at all on the RSI. It just looks lower. Your MACD, your green over your red, that's a sell signal. That just looks lower. So you got to be a little patient here with that a long trade. Now, again, the short here has been working really, really good here. So I've been scalping it both ways, both scalps in one day here. So that's been really working out good. Now, when you look on that weekly chart here, you can see that when it came all the way down here into that July time frame, then you can see here where you've held that 200-day, and then we had that nice rally up. Now, it held it all here, but you notice here, we're breaking through that 200 SMA here and closing below it just like we had here. Now, when you look at all the tops of these candles, see with that series of lower highs and lower lows, that's really never good. So when you look at the bottom here, that 7604, we could come all the way here down to this candle here. You're looking at that 75.23 again, and then you could come down to that 74.43, which is basically right there. So we got to see how this is all going to shake out. But again, be a little bit patient with this. Never have opinion. Just trade like both ways. Okay, we're going to take a look here at a scalp chart. Okay, this is a good example here of how to scalp. Okay, so when this price comes down, you always wait for it to come down. Okay, and then you can actually take it on the next day when you have a candle. See, this is called the red dog, where it goes lower and then it turns green. So when you see that, that's always a good buying opportunity here. You can run, but never runs all the way on up. Okay, so you're never really going to miss it. So you say, oh, geez, I missed this here. Well, not really, because you always do is you want to wait for this pullback in this kind of a situation. Okay, so when you have this, you have like a bottoming tail kind of a situation, but it's a red candle. So you always want to watch and wait for that green. Okay, so then when you get up here and you watch this neckline. See this neckline coming across here? That's what you want to watch. So then again, so you can take the trade down here. You can also take the trade here, but never take it on the red candle. Always wait to get that green candle, that reversal, and then take right on up. Same way with this green candle here. Now, okay, we had the reversal here, but you notice that green candle made a higher high. That's what you're looking for to take the trade on up. And then once you broke this neckline, then you can stay into this trade here. As usually, I never really wait all the way here till you get to it. I just wait till it runs out of the green candles, and then I just get out of the trade. Because it doesn't matter if you buy, you sell the actual top or you buy the actual bottom. What you want there is that meat in the middle. That's the key. So when you look at these charts like here for like say I'm going to scalp the trade here, never just don't buy it on the red candle. Always wait for that green candle, or if you want to, like I do, is a lot of times you wait for that retest. You say, oh, I missed it. No, you didn't, because just wait for that retest with that higher low situation, and then once you break that neckline, what I usually do is buy it here, and then if it breaks the neckline, I can add to the position and then take it up even higher. Okay, let's take a look here now at some candlesticks. Okay, here we have on the candlestick. Now I have all this on a playlist, so if you ever want to go back and take a look at it, this is all on a playlist, and you can look at it any time. Okay, so here's your bullish scenarios. Okay, so when you see this, and this is that green candle, that's always very, very good. See, this is that inverted hammer. So it went all the way up. It looks like it sold down, but the candle stayed green. That's exactly what you want to do here. Now this is a very good rally all on up here. But what I do is I don't wait for that red candle. What I do is I just sell it right once when I get those three candles. I go sell it right to resistance kind of a situation. Okay, so this is here is that bullish engulfing. So when you see that red candle, and then you have that green candle, which basically engulfs the previous day, that's your buying opportunity here. Okay, now here's a good one for a tweezer bottom. It comes all the way down, it goes up all the way down. It just looks like a pair of tweezers, and that's always a good buying opportunity. Okay, now here, this is basically like a bull flag. Okay, you have your pole, and then it comes right on down, and then you get that green candle. Then once you start breaking the high of the previous day candle, you can get in and then shoot it all the way back up here, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, morning stars are always very good here, because you have that red candle, then you have an indecision candle, then you have that green candle, and that tells you that's where she's going to take off. Now, when you have the 3 stars, you have like a big candle, and then you can see how these candles start getting smaller and smaller. That means people are getting out of that short trade and they're getting into the long trade, and that's the time that you want to take it. Okay, so here's that is like a bull flag situation where you have this green candle, and then you just come right on down here, and then you have that green candle, and then she shoots right on up here. Just hold on one second. Okay, then what we have here, this is your bull flag. Okay, so you have your pole, and then you have it come down all the way there, and then you get this green candle, and you take out all these 3 candles in one big swipe. Now, bearish here are just the opposite here. When anytime you see that red, but again, you can't look at bear candles at negative, because, I'm a short trader, short seller too. So it doesn't really make a hell of a lot of difference to me if it's long or short. So when you see these hangmans here, that's usually the kiss of death where she's going down lower. Same way here, it's like the shooting star here, but this is a green, that's a red. Okay. Now, bearish, this is always here where you'll have these candles that come on down. Okay, and that's always very, very bearish. And then you can get the green candle that wipes it all right on out here. Now, this here, just the reverse here, this is a bear flag where you have your pole and it comes right on up. And then it can't get higher than that first candle. Okay, and then she comes swiping right on down here, same as what we have for a pattern there. Okay, so this is a bearish here, because see, this is just the opposite of what we have here, where you have a big green candle, and then you can see the candles getting smaller. Okay, and that usually tells you that you got to get out of that trade and go long. Now, that evening star, just a reverse, where you have that green candle, and then you have that indecision candle, then you have a red, and then she goes right on down here, and that's usually never good. Now, bearish engulfing, obviously just the opposite of that, is where you have that nice green candle, and you think, oh man, this is going higher, and then you start losing the previous day's low, and that tells you got to get the hell out of the trade or go short. Okay, same here with this tweezer top. So it runs right on up here, can't hold it. But the green candle, you always wait till the next day, and then it runs all the way up, and then you end up with a red candle, and that's never very good. Now here, this is just an indecision candle, doesn't really know what's like, doesn't know what it's going to do. The same thing with these gravestone. Okay, it doesn't know what it wants to do. Same way with the dragonfly. Okay, so this is here, it's kind of indecision, so always wait on these patterns till the next day, and then you can decide exactly what you want to do. So I'm just going to do, this is all on my playlist here. So anytime you want to look at it, if you want to trade candlesticks, you can get a pretty good gist of what's going on. Okay, so let's take a look here at some chart patterns. Okay, here we have some chart patterns, which basically are reversal candles, okay, charts, I should say. Okay, so when you see this double top situation, okay, so everything right here, this is basically the outline of it. Everything looks looking nice, neat, and clean. But this is what you're going to see on your chart, okay? This is basically what you're going to see. Where you run all the way up here, come on down, you run up here, and usually what you want to look for here is putting in a lower high. So say this is 10 bucks. And then this goes 998. That's what you're kind of looking for to come all the way down. Okay, so you can short it down to this situation, but then you want to watch that neckline. So if the neckline plays through, then this is exactly what happens. Okay, now a lot of times it comes down to the neckline and it bounces back up again. So you got to be very cautious when it gets right down to that level. Okay, now here these double bottom situation, basically just the reverse. You come there, and what you want to do is say it comes down to $10 here. Okay, and then when it runs up back up here, then you want, like, say, 10.05. That is always a good tell that says that now that bad boy is going higher. And then you have to do the same thing again. Wait for that neckline. And then once you see it start breaking through, then this is what you end up with here. Very, very nice. Now, head and shoulders patterns, we see these all the time here, where you got your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder. We had the inverse one on the crude oil here, and it played out very, very nicely. So this is what it is in concept. But this is what it is in reality. You say, gee, that doesn't look like what he's talking about. But see, this is what it actually looks in reality. And then you wait for that neckline here. And then if you obviously break it, and then this is what happens. And the same thing with the reverse of this here. The inverse head and shoulder, like we had on the crude oil. Then you get this. And then obviously if it breaks that neckline, then we just pop right on up here, okay? So when we get these rising wedges, okay, so these here are always very bearish, because what it is just pretty much like a I should say like a bear flag situation. Okay, so you get this rising wedge comes all the way up here, and then it comes it rising up, and you can see how the pattern is getting tighter. So it's got to do one thing, but when it goes to the upside like this is 90% of the time, this is what happens right to the downside. Now the falling wedge is just the opposite, because it's falling, but you can see how the wedge is getting tighter and tighter, and usually when you break that line, then she just zips right back on up again here, okay? So when you look at these patterns here, you always want to see any kind of a rising wedge here is usually going to end up to the downside. Any kind of falling wedge is usually going to be right up to the upside, okay? So just always remember that here, just on when you're looking at chart patterns. And then always look for patterns like the inverse head and shoulders pattern, the head and shoulders pattern, the double tops, the double bottoms, because that always plays into your factor, where you can make some money off of that, okay? But again, when you get into these situations, always wait to the neckline here. Then what I usually do is I'll leave the position on here, see what happens on the neckline. If it goes above it, like it does like on this side, then what I do is I add to the position. Same way on the downside. If I'm shorting this, and I get right to this point here, and I see what happens, and I can see once it breaks through that, then you can always add to your position to take it even shorter. The same thing with your inverse head and shoulders pattern all the way on down. Same way with the chart. So anytime you see here these rising wedge patterns, that's never very good, because all these are is just like a bear flag situation where you're rising, and just always watch as that pattern gets tighter. Once it starts getting tighter, it's going to have energy to go bust out one way or the other. And when you have a rising wedge as to the bottom, when you have a lower wedge coming on a downside here, a falling wedge, then that breaks up to the upside. Okay, let's take a look here at gold and see what's going on with the old gold. Okay, now gold here looking very, very bullish. Okay, so we look at this chart pattern here. Okay, you can see just sideways action. Okay, so when you have a high here of that 24.48, and then we had the retest here at 24.54. You can see this here. If it can't hold that on a closing basis, that's a double top situation. Okay, so just go back to those charts like I showed you here, and that's what you want to look for. Okay, double top situation, and then she came right on down. Now, it held that 50-day here very, very nicely, wrote it up, and then we had that big red candle, and then sideways action. But if you look at this here, what you do is you had that low of 23.04, and then we had this retest a low of 23.04. See what you have there is that double bottom situation, okay, again, and then she just rallied right up here nice, all the way up. Now, she came down And then now it rallied right up here. You can see Friday, it just had basically just jumped right on up here. Okay, so now what we're watching here, so the high got is 24.36. So you want to look to the left of the chart. You had 24.33. So, okay, so that's the situation what you're looking for. Now the next level on the upside is going to be the top of this candle right here. Okay, so you're looking at 24.48. And then we can come over here to the top of this candle here. That's 24.78, and then your big retest there of 24.88. If you break out at 24.88, you're going to 2,500. Okay, you're going to that round number. Very, very simple. Okay. Now remember, gold is very, very volatile. Okay, so this here looks like, oh, we had a topping tail. It came right on down here, but you always got to watch here, and it just pops right on up here. Okay, so the RSI, as she was going down, it just reversed. Okay, now it looks like your MACD here is reversed, and this just looks like it just wants to go higher. But just say it doesn't, okay? So then what you want to do is just watch on the downside, 24.14. That is your 8 SMA here, and then we'll watch that 21 day at 23.94, and then we watch that 23.73 here on your 50 SMA here. If that's lost, you can come down here to your 100 day at 23.29, but 23.06 here, this is going to be a nice good retest here if you lose all of that. But this just looks like it just wants a reverse and it wants to just go higher. So you can see on your weekly chart, it was just a really good trading sign of a situation. You had a topping tail here, but it just didn't play out, and you just couldn't get below that 8 simple moving average. Okay, you got below it, but the key is closing below it for the week. That's the key, and obviously it just could not do that. Okay, let's take a look here at silver. Okay, here we have silver. Now, just remember on gold and silver and all these commodities, they're going to be very, very volatile, especially now here in the United States, we have the election going on, okay? So however this is going to work out, usually I always looked at gold as a fear factor kind of a situation. Now, I could be right on that, I could be wrong on that, but that's what I always looked at as a fear factor, that you're getting into the unknown. So you just got to be very, very careful that these are going to be very, very volatile, and that's not going to trade like you think is going to trade, okay? So look at here. We had 32.75, came back here and retested it, 32.51. Then it just sold right on off. You're holding a 50-day, but you just can't get through this 32 level here. That's going to be very key. Now, on silver, it's a little bit different here than gold, because now, okay, you're below all the simple moving averages, where gold, you were above it. Okay, so now we have to look at your resistance level here. What you want to watch is this 28.45 level. You want to watch the bottom of this candle here. That's at 28.82. And then you want to look at that 29.22. And then we can come up here to 30.13. And then we have your 50-day right there at 30.25. Then you can just rally the candles up. But realistically, that 32.01, that is going to be your target. Above that, you have that 32.75. Realistically, you crack above that, you're going to 35. Okay, that's just how it is. However, this pattern here is just a lot different than what we had on the old gold here. But now what we had Friday, we just had an inside day, which is all means your high and low are the inside of the previous day here. So we got to see how this all going to shake out. So on the downside here, just watch the bottom of that candle at 27.55. And then we can just come right over here, just follow the price channel across. And then here you go. You got 27.24, and then we'll come over here. You got 26.65, and you come all the way down here at 26.25, and then here's your big target is going to be 25.89 level here. Now I say this is just the opposite. Your RSI kind of flattened out a little bit, but your MACD is still very bearish, and it's not curling up like it did on the old gold. Now here for the weekly, silver really needs to get back above this 28.45, that 21 day. If not, you could come all the way down here to that 50-day very easy, and even maybe your 24.11 here, your 200 SMA here. So just watch this here. This is a lot different trader than you have on the old silver. Well, I mean, on the gold. Okay. Now, easy way to trade gold and silver is how I do it is GLD for the gold, SLV for the silver, in, out, done. Keep moving on. Okay, let's take a look here now at Bitcoin. Okay, here we have Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin is really going to be in play right now. Now, again, the guy who's running here in our country here is Trump. And now he was at a big Bitcoin conference. I believe it was in Florida. over the weekend, and he's pushing Bitcoin as an actual commodity here now. He wants that to be mainstream. So if he does get elected here, Bitcoin should rip. And realistically, you're looking at 74,415. That could rip to 100 grand with absolutely no problem at all. Okay, so now you have the backers coming back on in here on Bitcoin. Okay, so what we want to do is now what we were watching is this top of this price channel. Okay, so you're looking at 68. 655. Now these blue lines, price channels, all they are is just tops and bottoms of candles. Okay, make life very, very simple. You can use Bollinger Bands, you can use clouds. They're just not as accurate as this because that's all they are, just tops of candles. So you can see exactly where it's been. You just take the price channel right across and you know exactly where you're going. Very easy. Now, when you look at this on Friday's action, you had 68,655. Now you notice it got above it, but it couldn't close above it. That's the key, okay? You got to close above it. So that's the target we're looking for, 68,655. Now, again, if we get above that, then we'll just bring this price channel right across, which is just the top of that candle. You're looking at 70,480, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll come over the top of this candle, 72,360, and then we'll come top of here. You're looking at 72,660, okay? That's what you're looking for here on the Bitcoin. Now, we come right across, and we're looking right here. You're looking at 73,380, and then 74,415 is your retest. Above that, you're going to 100K. Just that simple, okay? But, again, it has to get and close above that 68,655. Not just intraday, pop up and come down, but you got to close above it. So we got to see how that's going to shake out. So let's just look on the downside. You can see where you had a bottoming tail kind of a situation, and then it just popped up. But now what you did is you left a gap. Okay, so you always want to watch this gap. So the bottom here is 66,350. There's your gap. You look at the top of that is 65,770. Okay, gap and fill. Even though you're above that 8 SMA here, which is good, but always watch that gap and fill. Okay, so first is going to be that gap. Okay, at that 63,350. Then we have this 66. 190, okay? Then we have your 100-day sitting at 65,700, and then we have right here is that fill, 65,770, and then we have your 50 SMA here sitting at 65,274. And then you can come all the way down here to your 21-day. But right now, it just looks like this 21-day is rolling up nice. Your 8-day is moving up nice here. It looks like it's poised to go higher, but the key is just watch that price channel. If you can get a close above that 68,665, then we can just start layering in exactly where we're going to take this bad boy. Okay, so that's what you got to look at. But a lot of this, I think, was due here because Trump was meeting here and had a big speech there about the Bitcoin and how he wants to put it mainstream. So, that had a lot to do with it. So always watch them politics right now through November here in the United States. I said, because it's going to make all the markets very, very volatile, okay? But again, volatility is your friend. Find out and figure out, how to make money on there, okay? That's the key to a good trader is how do I make money off of any situation, good or bad? So when you look at your RSI here, plenty of room to run up here. Your green crossed over your red. That's very, very bullish here. So this looks there like it's really good on the upside situation. Now here you can see for the week, yeah, you had a red candle, but you did close above your 21-day here, okay, at 65,495, and you closed above your 63,793 is your 8 SMA here. So this is all looking still very good, and your pattern is still very, very much intact here, okay? So right now, this here is just looking like it's trading sideways. It's looking for that catalyst to blast higher. But one thing I do want to point out to you here is, say this thing just comes right off. Well, then what you want to do, you see this here? Look to the bottom of that candle, okay? 68.45, there's your gap. Then look to the top of this candle here, okay? 58.790, gap, fill, okay? Always, always watch those gaps fill if this happens to come right on off here. So let's see what happens on Monday, what kind of reaction this is here, because over the weekend, he was having a speech there, so we got to see how if that was just totally it, you know what I'm saying? And then it might work its way higher, or if the speech is good and it's going to come right on down here again. So let's just say it. So just remember, politics is going to play a big, big part in the trading action this year. Okay, that's what I got for you today. Now I'll be back here tonight here before 7 o'clock, and we'll have a video on crude oil and natural gas to get you all set up for Monday. All right, thanks for watching.